All right, hello everyone. Yes, we are here. We are live on this beautiful Thursday. How's everyone doing today? Coming to you live on the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. Boy, are we going to have some fun today. Big NASCAR news dropping earlier today. Big time. We have been talking about it. We've been covering it. We've been pretty much trying to figure out what NASCAR is doing. Okay. And over the past, I'd say 2 weeks, we've seen some information leak out now and then about a possible update on the 2025 Cup, Xfinity, and Truck schedules. Well, guess what? There's no more, oh, I wonder if they're going to go here. Oh, I wonder if they're going to go here, because the schedules are out. Some big news dropping with this schedule, not only on the Cup side of things, but also Xfinity, Craftsman Truck Series. We're going to have a lot to talk about with the world of NASCAR today. Also, we have college football tonight. Oh, yeah. You heard me correct. It is a massive night of college football. I honestly don't dislike, I like the fact that we have so many games on a Thursday. I mean, the NFL is not on this weekend. It is the final week before the regular season. So what they've been doing since they dropped down to only having 3 playoff games, or preseason games, 4 if you're in the Hall of Fame game, which, that's kind of a preseason game. But what they've been doing, because of that, we have a bye week before the first week of the regular season. So you have your 3 preseason games, then you have a bye week, and then you get into the regular season. During that bye week, which is this week, it seems like college football is trying to stake a claim to some ground. They don't really have to try all that hard, but we have a lot of good games coming up on some Thursday night football tonight. The nationally televised game today, there is only a couple of them. More than one, but there's a couple of them. On Fox tonight, it will be North Carolina at Minnesota. That is an 8 o'clock kickoff. That's going to be a fun game there. Also at 8 o'clock, this one on ESPN, North Dakota State visiting Colorado. Coach Prime. Colorado Buffaloes getting some primetime love in week 1. CBS Sports Network will have Coastal Carolina visiting Jacksonville State. And on True TV, you'll see Sacramento State and San Jose State. Now, there are games on other networks, ESPN Plus, ACC Network, Big Ten Network. The kickoff today at 6 o'clock, it'll be Big Ten Rutgers hosting Howard at Shea Stadium in Piscataway. That's going to be at 6 o'clock. Then you have kickoffs from 7 all the way to 10 o'clock, the final kickoff, which is that Sacramento State and San Jose game. We do have ranked programs playing today, including NC State, who will be hosting Western Carolina. Wake Forest, who's not ranked, will be hosting North Carolina A&T. So a few North Carolina teams. Number 11, Missouri. Number 22, Kansas, also in action today. And then later tonight, you'll see number 12, Utah, as they host Southern Utah. So the college football season is here. We had a taste of it last weekend with 4 games on the docket, one of them being overseas in Dublin, and we got our first real upset of the year. Georgia Tech winning by 3 over Florida State. Now, Florida State still ranked 10th. That has not quite changed yet because not everybody's played. You can't just re-rank teams after only a few have played. So next week, we'll find out what happens to Florida State. They do actually have a game coming up this week on Monday. They will be the only Monday night game. It'll be on ESPN at 7:30. That's Florida State, who's still ranked number 10, hosting Boston College, the BC Eagles. Also, there's more going on in the world of sports. This is just kind of the quick rundown here. Carolina Panthers having their final practices. They got a little bit of a bulk up at corner as we head to the final off week, and then we'll get to the regular season. We cut the rosters down to 53 earlier this week. I believe we talked about that on Tuesday. But also Major League Baseball. Yes, Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani is different. He is different. On his bobblehead day, he hit a home run. And he stole 2 bases. Shohei Ohtani is different. And looking at the stats on the season now for Shohei Ohtani, he's up to 42 home runs and 42 stolen bases. Like I said, for Aaron Judge, if he can hit a couple of more home runs before we get into the month of September, he's going to be looking really good to break that 62 American League home run record. For Shohei Ohtani, give him another home run and a couple more stolen bases before the end of the month, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to reach that 50-50 season. Coveted 50-50 season, by the way. Not something that is to be taken lightly. No players really, not many players in that 50-50 club with Shohei Ohtani. The 40-40 club has some members, by the way. Ronald Acuna, Alfonso Soriano, Alex Rodriguez, Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, and now Shohei Ohtani. But 50-50, that is unheard of. It really is. Would I like to see him do it? Absolutely. Because he would be the first player ever to have 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a season. That combination of speed and power. If he hits over 300, we talked yesterday a lot about a league-wide MVP for baseball. Man, if he hits over 300, gets 50-50, he would get it over Aaron Judge. Imagine this season while he was on the Angels, though. That's where I kind of say, would he get the MVP over Aaron Judge in the American League? Like last year, he got American League MVP. Playing for the Angels, obviously. This year with the Dodgers, a National League MVP. I just find it curious to think which of those two players, Ohtani or Judge, is having the better season. And the reason it's close, in my opinion, is Judge is on track to hit over 60. He's batting .333. He's stolen a few bases. I mean, not many. But he's walked over 100 times. He's got the most RBIs in the league. And then you have Ohtani doing what he's doing with the 40-40 season, possibly becoming the first player to have a 50-50 season. There's a lot of good to talk about in the world of baseball, and things are heating up in the standings, wild card races. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. We'll stick with Major League Baseball, then we'll get into some NASCAR talk. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Scoreboard.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, staying warm and muggy overnight, temperatures will fall slowly, but into the low 70s by early Friday morning. Sunshine is back. We're back in the low 90s and watching for a few of those scattered thunderstorms for Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Heading into the upcoming holiday Labor Day weekend, will still be hot and muggy. Temperatures around 90 and watching a few of those pop-up storms each afternoon. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like ISI Denver.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree, Lake Norman, and Mooresville presents Vegas McGraw on Thursday, August 29th. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with music starting at 7. The Langtree Live free concert series powered by Waves Entertainment rolls on this Thursday with Vegas McGraw. The Center Stage Alliance holds the Bluegrass Jam on Friday night. Bring your favorite instrument and come jam every Friday at 109 East Broad Street in Statesville. The Iredell County Fair opens Friday night at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. The 88th annual event, sponsored by the Kiwanis Club, features some of the best entertainment in the area, including go-kart racing, carnival rides for all ages, competitive 4-H exhibits and animal shows, the magic of Lance Gifford, and much more. The fair runs through September 7th. Gates and rides open weekdays at 5 p.m. and on weekends at 3 p.m. Tickets are $5, while kids 6 and under are free. Carnival ride tickets and wristbands are available at the ticket box. Enjoy the Iredell County Fair for 9 straight days beginning this Friday at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. The town of Davidson presents the Music and Makers Concert Series on Saturday. Main Street businesses will feature handmade items produced by local makers. Take advantage of the social district and enjoy live music at the Crazy Pig Stage on 402 South Main Street in Davidson beginning at 2 p.m. On September 7th, see the top riders from the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship as they compete on a custom-built course at ZMAX Dragway. The playoff opener features a 2-moto format for the 450cc class and the 250cc class, promising plenty of drama and excitement the moment the gates drop. The Super Motocross Fan Fest is a pre-race event taking place from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. where you can see the teams practice, prepare, and qualify for the playoff round and is included in the event ticket. Don't miss the biggest Super Motocross race of the year. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
More than a century ago, Bunch Johnson Funeral Home was founded on compassion. Let us assist you with pre-planning for funerals and cremations. Our family is here when you need us. Bunch Johnson Funeral Home.
The number one station for people who say we're their favorite station.
WSIC.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is segment 2 here on the Scoreboard. The phone number, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Just so you guys are aware, modern day baseball. We're talking about baseball right now. The worst record ever in modern day baseball was in 1916. The Philadelphia Athletics, 36 wins, 117 losses for a win percentage, 23.5%. Doesn't sound very good, right? Pretty bad. Right now, the Chicago White Sox have 31 wins and 104 losses. They got to win at least 6 more games to have more wins than the 1916 Athletics. Now, in baseball in general, the worst record ever was the 1899 Cleveland Spiders. 20 wins, 134 losses for a win percentage of 13. They won 13% of their games. They were 84 games back in their division, by the way. Right now, the worst team in baseball, the Chicago White Sox, 31 wins, 104 losses. They are being outscored by 283 runs this year. Their record versus 500 teams that are 500 or better, is 17-75. Phew. By the way, they're also on a 7-game losing streak. They could end up being one of the worst teams in baseball history. They're going to be close, that's for sure. You got a whole month to win 6 games. Can you do it? We'll see. But we're not going to talk about all the bad stuff going on in baseball, like bad records. Let's talk about good stuff, like your division leaders, because it hasn't changed, really. It's getting closer. Things are tightening up. Around the league, things are tightening up. The Yankees still hold a 1-game advantage over the Orioles. The Red Sox, who are third in that division, have kind of fallen out now. They are 8.5 games back of the division. The Guardians hold that slim 1-game advantage over the Kansas City Royals. The Guardians, man, don't do what the Seattle Mariners did. Mariners had over a 10-game lead in their division, and, well, now they're 3.5 games back. Speaking of the Mariners, they're 3.5 games back of the Astros, who still lead their division. In the National League last night, the Phillies lost pretty bad, 10-0, whereas the Braves won. And that has now cut the NL East down to a 5-game lead for the Phillies. And not only that, we talked about this a little bit a couple of weeks ago, I think. Maybe it was last week that they played. But the Braves and the Phillies start a series today. So at 6:40, the Braves are going to be taking on the Phillies. They lost 10-0 to the Astros last night, but they did win that series. They won the first two and got blown out in the final game. But still, a 3-game set between the Braves and the Phillies. If the Braves can take 2 of 3, sweep maybe, all of a sudden, the division lead for the Phillies evaporates. And the Braves are hot right now. They are one of the hotter teams in baseball. They did a really good job at the trade deadline. And now they're starting to close the gap, slowly but surely, chipping away at the division lead that the Phillies have. In the NL Central, it's still the Brewers by 9.5 games. And in the NL West, things are still where they were. The Diamondbacks, 3 games behind the Dodgers. Padres fell back just a little bit. They're now 4.5 games back after they've suffered a 2-game losing streak, but still within striking distance. Now, the wild cards are interesting right now. The American League is actually closer than the National League now. And if you remember, 2, 3, 4 months ago, we talked about how mediocre the National League has been. Everybody, besides the bottom 3 teams and the top 4 teams, were within about 5 games of each other. That's not the case anymore in the National League, especially in the wild card. The Diamondbacks are the number 1 wild card, followed by the Padres, and then the Braves. The Braves have a 4-game advantage over the Mets, 5.5 over the Cubs, 6.5 over the Cardinals, 7 games over the Giants. Everybody else is 10 or more games back. In the American League, things are not as close as they've been. A 3-game advantage by the Twins over the Red Sox for that final wild card spot. Your other 2 wild cards are the Orioles and the Royals. Orioles and Royals. How about that? So your 3 wild card teams there. The Mariners, man, we talked about it. They're not going to make a wild card. They're 4.5 games back in the wild card. They're 3.5 back in their division. So they have a better chance at making the playoffs by winning their division than making a wild card. That's just because, well, the AL West wasn't that good this year. Astros only 71 wins, 62 losses. By the way, when we get to every team having 63 losses, that is when officially we can say that there's going to be no 100-win baseball team this year. Right now, the team with the least amount of losses are the Dodgers, who sit at 54 losses. So 9 more losses, and we will not see a 100-win team this year. Would be the first time since 2014 if that does happen. Also, it'll be the first time since 2014 that we don't see a run differential of plus 100 for anybody, or plus 200, by anybody in the major leagues. So it is a very competitive baseball season. There is no favorite, in my opinion. You could say the Dodgers. Well, they are the best team in baseball right now by a game. But have they shown that they're the best team? You could say the Phillies, but they're struggling right now too. You could say the Yankees. We saw them struggle in June. I don't know who the clear-cut favorite is. the Phillies are struggling right now. Is it going to be the Arizona Diamondbacks, the NL representative in the World Series last year? Is that who the favorite's going to be this year? I don't know. Looking at money lines and betting lines is usually a decent way to see who is going to be the favorite. I don't really have a great feel on who the betting line, like, betting lines are weird to me. I don't know. I don't like using it as, gospel of who is going to win the World Series this year. Oh, the Yankees are the favorite to win the World. Okay, there's 162 games we have to play, plus a playoff. Like, how do you know? How do you know? But if you're curious and for entertainment purposes only, the Dodgers are the favorite to win the World Series, followed by the Yankees, Phillies, Orioles, and Astros. That's your top five. Okay. I mean, I probably could have told you it was going to be the Dodgers, but are they actually going to be the favorite when we get to playoff baseball? Yet to be seen. Continue keeping our eye on baseball. A lot of big storylines here. Aaron Judge, how many home runs is he going to hit? Bobby Witt, what's his batting average going to be at the end of the year, man? He's batting .346 right now. That is incredible. So we'll continue to update you on the MLB season. Moving on to another sport, I want to get into our NASCAR discussion today. We have to talk about the schedule release for 2025, not only the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Truck Series. Both released their schedules today as well. And then we'll also hear from a few drivers as we begin previewing the final race of the regular season in NASCAR. I almost said Major League Baseball. We're not talking about baseball anymore. We're going into NASCAR. Final race of the regular season coming up. That's going to be at Darlington. We already talked about the Clash. NASCAR announcing that the Clash for the 2025 season is not going back to Daytona to be part of Speed Weeks, which is a disaster in my eyes. It should always be 50 laps around Daytona. Throw a caution at halfway and go have some fun. Tear up a few race cars, by the way. But February 2nd, the Clash is going to be at Bowman Gray Stadium, officially February 2nd. The Daytona 500 is scheduled for February 23rd. I'm sorry, February 16th. Atlanta, the second race of the year, February 23rd. We're going to talk about the schedule, some surprises, a little bit of shuffling in the playoffs. We have Watkins Glen is in the playoffs this year. It won't be in the playoffs this year. One less road course next year as well. So we'll have all of that for you on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Scoreboard. Get into NASCAR after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, staying warm and muggy overnight, temperatures will fall slowly, but into the low 70s by early Friday morning. Sunshine is back. We're back in the low 90s and watching for a few of those scattered thunderstorms for Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Heading into the upcoming holiday Labor Day weekend, will still be hot and muggy. Temperatures around 90 and watching a few of those pop-up storms each afternoon. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Parents can find a quality classical Christian education at Headwaters Academy. For more information, the phone number is 704-876-1520.
Have you taken the Desco Challenge? Desco is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
My name is Ashley. I just redid the lighting in my home, and the customer experience at Desco was second to none.
See for yourself at descoinc.com.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Drum Landscape Supply is the go-to spot for anything you need for your yard. Transform your landscaping. Drum Landscape Supply has trees, flowers, natural stone, custom blended grass seed, mulch, and more. Plus, they deliver. DrumLandscapeSupply.com.
The Statesville Family YMCA reminds you that older adults and those with chronic health conditions don't need to feel they must accept impaired balance and limited mobility. Build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in your mobility through the Moving for Better Balance program. For questions and additional information, email C. Mullins at ymcanwnc.org.
President Biden recently released a massive $6 trillion budget, the largest budget in U.S. history. And guess who pays the bill? That's right, you, the American taxpayer. American citizens and business owners will be paying more taxes. That's a fact. And if you owe back taxes, they will be coming after you to collect payments. In fact, President Biden also hired thousands more IRS agents to go after you. If you got a letter from the IRS and you know you owe back taxes or you haven't filed in years, don't put your head in the sand. Call us today. We've saved our customers millions of tax dollars. One quick, free phone call will show you how we can reduce your past tax bill and save you thousands. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call now.
800-218-6440. 800-218-6440. 800.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. As a sports fan, I love watching championship parades. There's something special about seeing the joy in fans' faces as they celebrate a tremendous occasion. Grand celebrations should serve to remind us of the celebration that takes place when a sinner turns to God in faith. In Luke chapter 15, Jesus shares 3 parables and the celebratory rejoicing that takes place over the return of the lost sheep, the lost coin, and the return of the prodigal son. He goes on to explain that there is even more celebration after a sinner repents, saying, in the same way I tell you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. Today, let's remember how eternally rewarding and satisfying it is when someone surrenders their life to Jesus. So let's keep celebrating and sharing the gospel with others. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A rally in the S&P 500 lost traction in trading today as NVIDIA extended its sell-off to 6%. The good news, most U.S. stocks, about 75% of them, advanced, buoyed by data showing the economy is holding up. The S&P ended close to completely unchanged, a slight loss of 0.2 of a point. The NASDAQ ended lower by 40 points, or 0.2%, while the Dow hit another record high with a gain of 244 points, nearly 0.6. There's more on this story. The maker of ChatGPT, OpenAI, is about to embark on a new round of fundraising that would potentially bring the value of the company to more than $100 billion. Reports say the venture capital firm Thrive Capital will lead the round, but also that Apple and NVIDIA are both in talks to join in the investment. To date, Microsoft has been the primary strategic investor into OpenAI. I'm Scott Carr, Bloomberg Radio.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back past the halfway point here on the Scoreboard. Happy Thursday to everybody. We got about 25-ish minutes left in the program today. left you guys talking about the NASCAR Cup Series. The schedule for 2025 has officially been released. Yes, after weeks of leaks and saying, oh, is this track going to be on the schedule? Is this track going to be on the schedule? We officially have the regular season. Some interesting things on the schedule, man. Number one, the Clash is at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, February 2nd. Daytona 500 2 weeks later, Sunday, February 16th. Atlanta, Circuit of the America, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Homestead goes from in the playoffs this year to mid-March next year. Martinsville, Darlington, Bristol, spring, definitely not going to be on dirt. A bye week this year for Easter. Talladega, Texas, Kansas, and the All-Star Race. The All-Star Race, Sunday, May 18th at North Wilkesboro again. North Wilkesboro keeping the All-Star Race. That will mark the final race of the year for Fox Sports. Because after the All-Star Race, when we go to Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600, you will only be able to stream that race on Amazon Prime Video. The same way the NFL put Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, you will have to watch NASCAR Cup Series races on Amazon Prime Video. And streaming, man, I don't know how I feel about it. If you are tech savvy and you stream a lot, maybe you've streamed and you've also noticed how delayed a stream is. Now, cable and satellite, we know all of that has like a 3, 4, 5, 7 second delay, something like that. But it's pretty instantaneous, which is important for what are these leagues really into right now? Where is all the money going right now? Where? Gambling. That's right. In-game gambling. What's going to happen on this play? What's going to happen on this play? What's going to happen this play? How does that work if you're streaming your game, streaming your race, and it's a minute and a half behind? In the NFL, that's like a play that maybe 2 that you're behind. So how do you watch a game and say, I'm going to in-game bet that the next play is going to be a handoff? But you do that, you see it happen on your stream, but you didn't know you were betting 3 plays later. And streaming, like, if you get notifications, if you need information, like, you'll get the pop-up notification on your phone before you see it. I just have a problem with streaming. I do. And I think eventually it's going to come back around to being off streams. But we do have a stretch in the NASCAR Cup Series. It's a stretch of 5 races in the early summer months where we are going to have to watch Amazon Prime Video. Those races are going to be Charlotte, Nashville, Michigan. Get this, Mexico City. We talked about that yesterday. And Pocono. Then after that, we have a nice 5-game set on TNT. Atlanta, Chicago, Sonoma, Dover, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which is confirmed to be on the oval next year. Then for the stretch, we go to NBC Sports. The final 4 races of the regular season next year are going to be Iowa, Watkins Glen, Richmond, and Daytona. Yes, Daytona goes back to the regular season finale. Apparently, with the way that the schedule got shuffled around this year, NASCAR doesn't want Darlington, the Southern 500, to be on any weekend other than Labor Day weekend. That's just kind of how things worked out this year to put the Darlington race as the final race of the regular season. Playoffs. Here's the round of 16. We start at Darlington. That's going to be Labor Day weekend. By the way, Labor Day next year is on September 1st, even earlier, as early as it can be, as I found out. First Monday of September. Worldwide Technology Raceway, WWT, Gateway, whatever you want to call it, St. Louis. That is going to be the second race of the round of 16. And then the night race at Bristol concludes round 1. Round 2 kind of stinks. There's one decent track in there, in my opinion. New Hampshire, ew. Kansas, yay. The Charlotte Roval, ew. They are going to try to pound the Charlotte Roval into our brains as a permanent fixture. And I can't get into it. I can't. Go back to the oval at Charlotte. It's seriously so much better. The final round before the championship will be Las Vegas, Talladega, and Martinsville. Yes, you heard me correctly. Talladega is in the round of 8. If you win and you're in the playoffs, well, guess what? You're going to the championship race, which is going to be at Phoenix yet again. So there's your schedule for the NASCAR Cup Series. A couple of things to keep in mind. A few more Saturday night races this year. Not many. Atlanta in June is going to be a Saturday night race. The Daytona regular season finale, obviously, is going to be a Saturday night race. Richmond on August 16th, the penultimate race of the regular season, is going to be a Saturday night race. So is Bristol. So we have 4 Saturday night races on the schedule this year. Every other race scheduled for Sunday. Don't ask me what time because NASCAR can't pin down a time, which is a problem. You know, appointment viewing and all that stuff and we know the NFL starts at 1 o'clock and 4:30. We know that. We have no idea when NASCAR starts. Not a clue. The NHL, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock for the West Coast. We know that. We don't know when NASCAR races are. We got to wait till the week of. So that's the NASCAR Cup Series. The big news out of the Xfinity and the Truck Series, get this. Are you ready? Are you holding on to something? April 19th in the Xfinity Series. April 18th in the Truck Series. That's early in the year. The cars will be making laps around Rockingham. Yes, NASCAR is heading back to Rockingham. It will be the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series competing there. Unfortunately, no Cup cars at Rockingham right now. Hopefully it goes well there, and then they decide, you know what, let's bring the Cup cars over there as well. Also, in the Truck Series, Lime Rock Park is on the schedule. Lucas Oil IRP is back on the schedule. Talladega is in the round of 8 as well in both the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. So a lot of chaos coming in the round of 8 next year. It's going to be something. We're going to stay on the NASCAR topic on the other side of the break. Got some drivers to hear from as we begin previewing Darlington, the final race of the regular season. Don't go anywhere. One segment to go on the scoreboard. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, staying warm and muggy overnight, temperatures will fall slowly, but into the low 70s by early Friday morning. Sunshine is back. We're back in the low 90s and watching for a few of those scattered thunderstorms for Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Heading into the upcoming holiday Labor Day weekend, will still be hot and muggy. Temperatures around 90 and watching a few of those pop-up storms each afternoon. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree, Lake Norman, and Mooresville presents Vegas McGraw on Thursday, August 29th. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with music starting at 7. The Langtree Live free concert series powered by Waves Entertainment rolls on this Thursday with Vegas McGraw. The Center Stage Alliance holds the Bluegrass Jam on Friday night. Bring your favorite instrument and come jam every Friday at 109 East Broad Street in Statesville. The Iredell County Fair opens Friday night at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. The 88th annual event, sponsored by the Kiwanis Club, features some of the best entertainment in the area, including go-kart racing, carnival rides for all ages, competitive 4-H exhibits and animal shows, the magic of Lance Gifford, and much more. The fair runs through September 7th. Gates and rides open weekdays at 5 p.m. and on weekends at 3 p.m. Tickets are $5, while kids 6 and under are free. Carnival ride tickets and wristbands are available at the ticket box. Enjoy the Iredell County Fair for 9 straight days beginning this Friday at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. The town of Davidson presents the Music and Makers concert series on Saturday. Main Street businesses will feature handmade items produced by local makers. Take advantage of the social district and enjoy live music at the Crazy Pig Stage on 402 South Main Street in Davidson beginning at 2 p.m. On September 7th, see the top riders from the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship as they compete on a custom-built course at Xenax Dragway. The playoff opener features a 2-moto format for the 450cc class and the 250cc class, promising plenty of drama and excitement the moment the gates drop. The Super Motocross Fan Fest is a pre-race event taking place from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. where you can see the teams practice, prepare, and qualify for the playoff round and is included in the event ticket. Don't miss the biggest Super Motocross race of the year. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
This is Fred Lowry at Lowry Drug. We now have our own brand of full-spectrum hemp extract, also known as CBD oil. I personally manage this product as it was grown on my farm here in Iredell County. It was then processed and bottled here in Statesville. This is a true herbal extract with all the medicinal components intact. A product you can trust to be authentic. And since there is no wholesaler, it's at a price you can afford. Try it at Lowry Drug on Hartness Road in Statesville.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Hello, hello, hello. It is the final segment here on the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4. Yeah, you know the number by now. Give me a call if you have something you want to chat about. Talking about the world of NASCAR schedule release. One other thing, the Truck Series is going to be competing at the Charlotte Roval along with the Cup and Xfinity cars who have been there. It'll be the first time the trucks go there. So that just kind of shows you that they're really not going to abandon the Roval. They are going to continue to make that thing work, or at least try to make that thing work. Maybe it should stay with actual road racing series. But what do I know, right? I always say it. What do I know? I don't know much. The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Darlington this coming weekend. The final race of the regular season. And I want to give you a quick overview on the regular season points. It looks like 3 drivers have a chance to win that regular season championship. Tyler Reddick, who is currently in the lead by 17 points over Kyle Larson, and 18 points over third place Chase Elliott. Those are the only drivers that have a chance of winning the regular season championship this year. By the way, if you sort the season by laps led, the 8th place driver in points, Denny Hamlin, has the most laps led this year, followed by Kyle Larson, and then Christopher Bell. Surprisingly, Martin Truex Jr. is next on this list. So 3 of the drivers that I thought were going to be the forces to mess with this year, Hamlin, Bell, and Larson, but we haven't really seen much from William Byron after the 3 wins that he got early in the season. Only 8 top 5s on the year and 13 top 10s, and he's racked up 3 DNFs. He's only won a single stage this year, so not many playoff points for William Byron. Looking at the playoff picture, there are 3 drivers currently in the playoffs who are not locked in. That would be Martin Truex Jr., Ty Gibbs, and Chris Buescher. Now, Ty Gibbs missed the playoffs a season ago. Here's Ty Gibbs on what he learned in missing those playoffs and how he's changed going to this year.
Yeah, I learned that it's definitely nice to be locked in before you go to Daytona, that's for sure. And I just, a lot of experience, and I learned so much last year and still learn a lot now, and I'm sure for the rest of my career, but the experience level is just the most important. And, getting used to how the weeks are and, how everything is at the top level, it just takes some time to get used to. And that's what I feel like I've been doing, and I think my team's been doing as well. And my crew chief has had some years in the Cup Series as well with Eric Jones. So, we're all learning, but mostly I'm learning and enjoying it.
And he missed the playoffs last year, but he is in right now. Yes, it is nice to be locked in before the final race at Daytona. That's when the final race of the regular season is at Daytona. Not this year, it's Darlington. So maybe not as random of a race, but definitely some drivers that you're going to want to watch out for coming in and hitting a walk-off win to send them into the playoffs. Look, any of the guys from 14th to 19th in points, Truex, Gibbs, Buescher, Bubba, Chastain, and KB, I could see any of those guys winning this weekend, honestly. Also, somebody who is way out of the playoff picture right now, Eric Jones. He's won at Darlington in that 43 car before. He's won at Darlington in a Gibbs car before. He loves Darlington. For Eric Jones, this is his chance. He got injured early in the year, missed a few races, got the waiver from NASCAR, which is the only time you should get a waiver is if you're injured in a race car. That's the only time you should get a waiver, not if you decide to go race in IndyCar. But I would love to see more chaos. I mean, we had 2 drivers almost in consecutive weeks that are 30th or worse in points win. One of those drivers did it in not so great fashion to the point where NASCAR said, I'm sorry, you made a mockery of our sport. We're not going to put you in the playoffs. And the other one won his first career race at a track that produces a lot of first-time winners. If we get another driver that's way buried in the points, like Eric Jones, to win a race and lock himself into the playoffs, you might see some things change. There needs to be change, in my opinion. I really am firmly on that. We need to figure out a way to... I want to eliminate playoffs altogether. And I know NASCAR doesn't want to do that. I wish it was just a season-long points format the way it was. But if NASCAR is insisting on this, they need to consider going back to the old chase format. The original chase format. Top 10 drivers in points, not based on wins, just based on top 10 in points. Those drivers get reset, and you get bonus points based on where you finish in the standings at the end of the regular season. Throw them into a 10-race grid, and may the best one win. By the way, when they first did the chase, what was it, 2005 was the first year, I believe? The first race of the chase was New Hampshire, which is now back in the playoffs. So just full circle there, really. We'll hear from a couple of more drivers. We'll hear from Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain as well. Christopher Bell, a driver that is already locked in. Ross Chastain, driver that's not locked in. It's going to be a fun regular season finale Sunday night. The reason that the race is Sunday night, by the way, holiday on Monday. Most people have off. By the way, not sure what's going on Monday here at WSIC, to be honest with you. maybe I will be here. I don't know. But Monday being a national holiday, Labor Day, the Cup Series is racing Sunday night. It's going to be a 6 o'clock start, so it'll be a day to night. I personally wish that we had more day to night, Saturday night races in the Cup Series. I think they are the most entertaining. They produce a really good product. You got a lot of people who are good in the daytime, not so great in the night, vice versa. Only 4 Saturday night races this coming year, so 5 night races altogether, though, by the way, because we do have Darlington on Labor Day weekend for a Sunday night race. I just wish they'd bring the throwback weekend back to the Southern 500. Not the spring Darlington race, the summer Darlington race, the Southern 500. Because I want those throwback paint schemes on the track for as long as possible. They're always so good. They're always beautiful. The only way that they could be perfect is if NASCAR moved the numbers back to where they were on the cars. But we're not going to. That's a topic, completely different topic for another day. We're coming up quickly on the end of the program here on the scoreboard on this Thursday. We're going to have one more day of the week after this. On this day in history, 2018, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers signed an NFL record contract extension with Green Bay back in 2018. This should show you how quickly contracts have blown up in the NFL. It was the biggest one at the time. It was 4 years, $180 million. That was the biggest one at the time. Wow. 134 possible. It was 134, possibly 180 million with bonuses, and 103 million guaranteed, which at the time was a record. 2022, only a couple of years ago, Albert Pujols hit career home run 694 off of a major league record 450th different pitcher. Man, Albert Pujols on this day breaking a record. And let's see, we get one more in here. George Brett on this day, 1982, got his 1,500th career hit. By the way, I was looking up to see who the next player to possibly approach 3,000 hits would be. The next closest player to 3,000 hits is Freddie Freeman and Jose Altuve. Both of those players right around 2,300 hits. So still a long way to go if they want to get to that 3,000 hit mark. College football tonight. A lot of good games. North Carolina schools are in action. NC State hosting Western. You got the Tar Heels heading to Minnesota. You got Wake Forest hosting North Carolina A&T. Plenty of college football tonight. Plenty of college football tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And we'll have all of the results for you here on the scoreboard tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. I'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Until then, have a good one, everyone.